as the Diddy trial is opening up. People keep making this all about Diddy rather than looking at everything that's happening around it. There's a lot of people that want to protect the Diddy agenda because it serves them, because allegedly they're all accomplices. Like I said last year, after the Cassie Diddy case was made public for the world to see on CNN.
If Kim Porter had done what she done, there would be no Cassie to testify.
You know, Mr. Combs, SC and SC, thing 1 and thing 2. They've been covering each other's ass for a long time, guys. Y'all don't see what's going on? The death of Angie Stone, Clive Davis, Diddy, Rock Nation on the verge of utter collapse. What happened to Tory? Find a way to blame it on him. Now all of a sudden he was trying to start a race. Just so happens that he gets half the day as the Diddy trial is opening up.
Jaguar Wright is not backing down from coming for Diddy. Not one bit. She just pulled a wild move by crashing his trial and handing prosecutors some never-before-seen tapes of Diddy messing around with Bryshere Gray back when he was just 17. Jaguar's been calling out Diddy over Bryce for a long time, way before any arrests even happened, so there's no way she was gonna stay quiet and let everything slide without exposing what went down. Now Bryce is out here on Twitter, hustling on OF for pennies. It's wild. This kid had serious potential to blow up in Hollywood, but Jaguar claims Diddy and Will Smith allegedly took turns messing with him. And after they were done, they didn't stop there. They allegedly passed him around to other high-ranking people in the industry, like he was some kind of toy. They straight up broke him down. Cat Williams wasn't capping when he said Diddy's parties are way more than they seem, and you better know how to say no. And in case anyone's still confused about what happened to Bryce, here's the breakdown. When he was 17, he got placed into this so-called mentorship program under Diddy and Will. But mentorship? That barely existed. His manager at the time, Charlie Mack, had plans for Diddy to push Bryce's music career, while Will was supposed to help him shine in acting. But Jaguar says they were doing something else entirely, allegedly using him for their own messed-up pleasures instead of helping him grow. By the time they were done, she says he wasn't the same kid anymore. Jaguar dropped these claims hard when she first went public, accusing both Will and Diddy of hiding predatory behavior behind their so-called mentorships. Jaguar Wright didn't hold back when she exposed what she called a nasty game being played behind the scenes, luring young boys into twisted activities with the promise of making it big. She claimed that one time things got so out of hand, Bryshere Gray and Meek Mill were allegedly heard by Will Smith's neighbors running out of Will's house with no clothes on, screaming for help. Nobody knows the full details of what went down inside that house, but folks say the alleged freak-off had already been going on for hours, and it got so intense, they were supposedly passing in and out of consciousness. And after Cassie came out saying those wild sessions could go on for up to 4 days straight, people started to believe this wasn't just gossip. It sounded way too real.
They do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills, Bryshere Gray left that house screaming. August the only one that stayed, and I guess he was really sick. He needed a dog.
But it doesn't stop there. Terrence Howard, who worked closely with Bryce on Empire, recently dropped some serious hints about powerful folks in the industry messing with young men to trade for favors. He didn't name names, but a lot of people believe he was talking about Bryce.
You know, well, when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that It's always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Got punked out and out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man.
The sad part, after Bryce got out of that scene, everything fell apart for him. That mentorship he was supposed to get from Diddy and Will, it never happened, not even close. Instead, he got spit out by the industry, barely landed any more acting jobs, and faded from the spotlight. Next thing people heard, he was caught up in a bunch of legal trouble and even ended up accused of hurting his girlfriend. Whatever happened behind those closed doors, it left a mark on him that never really went away. Take this. In 2022, Bryshere Gray got arrested and found guilty of aggravated assault against a woman he was hooking up with at the time. And that wasn't even his first run-in with the law. Back in 2020, things got wild when his wife, nobody even knew he was married, ran to a nearby gas station begging for help. A man there ended up saving her, and when the truth came out, folks were stunned. She told the cops Bryce had strangled her. When law enforcement showed up at his place to arrest him, he flat out refused to come outside. It took hours of back and forth with a whole SWAT team just to get him to surrender. And when those mugshots finally dropped, people were shocked at how rough he looked, like he'd completely lost himself.
One of the stars of the hit show Empire. Tonight we're seeing hours of new video from his July arrest that ended with his wife flagging down police and telling them the actor had her for hours inside their Goodyear home. The bizarre jailhouse interview lasting for 2 hours as they try to piece together a chaotic chain of events.
But just when you thought it couldn't get worse, Jaguar Wright stepped back into the mix with even more disturbing claims about what allegedly happened to Bryce. She backed the rumors that Charlie Mack, his former manager, was the one who linked Bryce to those industry predators. But she dropped an even bigger bomb, saying Bryce's own mother, Andrea Mayberry, was involved too. Jaguar claimed Andrea knew exactly what was happening and still let it slide. That's the part that had everyone's jaw on the floor.
And when I say Andy, I'm talking about Bryshere's mom. I'ma kick you in your and then I'ma go to work North Philly style. You and Charlie. You happy now? He's a gay star. Are you happy now, Andy? For a book that didn't sell. I hope that new husband of yours leaves you. And maybe it's time you tell your son why his father is really in jail, his biological father, for all of his life and what you had to do with it. You CI that came to me and begged me for my help. I told her to get the away from Charlie. I did everything that I could do to help her get Bryshere out of California into Chicago safe to be ready for filming. She knew what Will did to him.
It wasn't just betrayal from strangers. It was from people closest to him. And apparently, after Cassie went public and filed her lawsuit, Bryce was ready to do the same. He was supposedly in talks with lawyers, getting ready to sue Diddy and Will, but according to Jaguar, he backed out because his life was on the line. That's how deep and dangerous this whole situation allegedly runs. Jaguar Wright dropped another bomb when she claimed there's a secret tape out there with Justin Bieber, Will Smith, Jaden Smith, Diddy, and Bryce Shearer all in it, caught up in some kind of freak-off. She swears she's one of the few people who's actually seen it.
Came out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present, that tape exists.
Okay.
I really hope none of that baby oil was used on those kids. That would just be in bad taste. Baby oil on babies.
You can't say that the flavor camp was sponsored by Johnson & Johnson. You just come on. Come on.
Starting to sound that way, ain't it?
No,
all that talent, and she let Charlie tune that boy up on, knowing that he was bipolar and had ADHD. What kind of mother would do that to her son? Turn him into a prostitute so you could pretend to be something more than what you are, which is nothing more than a filial. You're a big old and they're making your son out to be, that's for sure. Because he didn't have no choice. You was down by all. I'm sorry. The Bryshere conversation for me is not easy. Because I came to Belial and I asked Belial to help me save the kids, and all he was worried about was his book.
That claim alone had the internet spinning. Now, when folks started digging into what lawsuit she was talking about, all signs pointed to that rumored $50 million case against Diddy and Will. Word is, Bryshere was behind it, working quietly with lawyers before things got too hot. The whole thing was first teased through a blind item, and it said, "I suspect the soon-to-step-forward male victim of this A-list mogul will not be the last man to do so. Sean Diddy Combs." People connected the dots fast. As for those tapes Jaguar brought to Diddy's trial, rumor has it the court didn't allow them to be played, but that didn't stop her. She handed them straight to the prosecutors, and now, insiders are saying those same prosecutors are working to subpoena Bryce so he can testify in court and help take Diddy down once and for all. Before she even stepped foot inside the courtroom, Jaguar was spotted outside, flanked by bodyguards, no less. She wasn't taking any chances in case Diddy's people tried to come for her. She's become one of the loudest voices tied to this case. And you already know Diddy's circle isn't thrilled about her showing up like that. Jaguar made it clear, if Diddy falls, he's taking a whole sick system down with him. And she's not stopping until every single one of them gets exposed and dealt with.
I do believe there's going to be a lot of curveballs. I do believe there's going to be a lot of interesting things. And what I will say is, be vigilant. We're getting started.
Is this a reckoning for the music industry?
Oh, it needs to be. And if it wasn't, I hope my presence starts that.
Jaguar Wright didn't hold back when she said the real reason Diddy didn't get exposed years ago was because the authorities completely fumbled the R. Kelly case. According to her, if they had done their job right back then, they would have connected the dots and caught on to what Diddy was allegedly doing too. It took Cassie stepping up and filing that lawsuit for anyone to finally take a closer look. And once investigators actually started digging into Diddy, it only took a few weeks for all kinds of disturbing stuff to start coming to light. Things that should have been uncovered a long time ago.
This case that happened in the R. Kelly case, because if that had been properly addressed, this would have been addressed back then. These people have been working together, all in cahoots for all of this time, and it needs to all be addressed. I'm glad it's not just me anymore. I'm glad it's someone else. I'm glad there are other people who need to be heard. I'll be sure. I'm glad they're hearing him, Cassie. I'm glad they're hearing her, Kim Porter, through. I'll be sure. I'm glad. Natanya Rubin, I'm glad. All of these things. So yeah, it's mixed emotions, but I just know when you pray for something and God answers it, you should be happy.
People online have been sounding off too. One person said, "Absolutely come forth. What they did to him was horrific and wrong. He should reclaim his life, get mental help, compensation, and rise like a phoenix. Despite them, broke my heart to see the damage they caused the young man." That one hit deep. Another user added, "Jag has bigger balls than all the men who have ruled the world unchecked. All the parents who sold their child's soul for fame will reap what they have sown." Whew, they did not hold back. But now I want to hear what you think. Do you believe Jaguar really handed over those tapes to the prosecutors? And could Bryshere actually step into that courtroom and testify against Diddy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to see what's really going down. Hit that bell so you don't miss what's coming next, because this saga is far from over. See you in the next one.